Hello everybody, and welcome back to another one of our 7-star Terra Raid build videos. As of a little bit earlier today, the Pokemon Company announced the next 7-star raid is going to be another fun one. It's going to be a Serperior, which interestingly enough is Terra-type Grass. It's a little unexpected. Normally when they do like a Pokemon that keeps its typing, they try to stick to the secondary typing, like Primarina was Fairy-type, for example. And I know there's one other one that I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe that'll come to me later on in the video. Was it Incineroar? Incineroar was like dark, right? It might have been Incineroar. I think it was Incineroar. Um, but anyway, yeah, Serperior is going to be Grass Terra type. Which, it's a little difficult to deal with realistically because Serperior is actually a really good Pokemon, especially when it comes to these long style Terra raids. And we'll get to why when we get into its moves, which I mean, right now is a great time for. Serperior gets the move Leaf Storm, and at first you might just be like, okay, that's a powerful grass type move, but it's like Draco Meteor, it lowers its special attack by 2 stages. And I want to direct your attention to its ability real quick. Contrary is absolutely what the Serperior is going to be running. Serperior's best ability by far is Contrary, so I didn't even consider Overgrow as an ability that it could run. It's going to run Contrary. I can say that with utmost certainty, and it's going to have Leaf Storm as its main damage dealing move. What that does is every single time Serperior uses Leaf Storm, not only does it do a bunch of grass type damage, it also boosts its special attack by 2 stages, which means next turn it's going to do even more grass type damage. And that can snowball really quickly. Obviously, it takes 3 turns then to get to +6, and then this thing is going to start wreaking havoc through your teams. So our builds are kind of focused around stopping that from happening, or if it eventually gets there, maybe pushing it back and making it a little bit more difficult to. It also gets some not other, like its other moves aren't that great realistically. Dragon Pulse is really its only great coverage option. And then its other moves I kind of were struggling to find some that would fit on this infographic well. Grassy Terrain I guess would be good. It boosts Leaf Storm's damage output slightly. Calm Mind as well, boosting its special defense, but realistically it's probably not going to be using that too much because Leaf Storm already boosts its special attack a little bit. If it has Sunny Day on there, it's probably also going to have Growth as a way to set up early on. But again, I don't even really see that happening. Because it's just going to get the special attack boost from Leaf Storm, so maybe scratch those off too. Gastro Acid maybe, because that makes it so your its target doesn't have an ability, which could hurt some of our builds here today. And Coil could boost its defense and its accuracy because Leaf Storm doesn't have 100% accuracy. I think it's 90%. So it might want to hit 1 or 2 of those to make sure it's 100% accurate and maybe give itself a nice little boost to defense. It also learns Light Screen and Reflect. I'm not really expecting to see too many or either of those. I don't think any 7-star Terra raid has run either of those move options because they're, I think, just so good that it'd be a little unfair to run it. But yeah, all you really need to worry about on this Pokemon is Leaf Storm. That is going to be what it's going to be spamming against your team. Maybe Dragon Pulse, but realistically, Leaf Storm is what you need to worry about. Obviously, it does also get Overgrow, but Contrary is going to be what it's going to run almost assuredly. As a pure grass type Pokemon, Serperior is going to be weak to Bug, Fire, Flying, Ice, and Poison. Quite a few options to go for there, and we hit a few of them on our builds here. Not all of them. I think we're missing Flying and Ice type damage output, so if you want to run one of those, that could be fun too, but we've got some other great options here for you to build. Serperior is coming pretty soon, September 20th to the 22nd, and then once again from the 27th to the 29th. So any of these builds should hopefully help you out. If you want to be safe and you want to save your resources, maybe wait till that second run to see what Serperior is 100% running, and then build one of these builds like from there. Because some of them might do a little better depending on when we actually see what Serperior is running. But again, Leaf Storm is going to be what it's using. I'm almost 100% sure that's what this gimmick is going to be. That's what this Pokemon is going to be using against you. And that does a lot of damage. The Terra-type Grass Serperior has a pretty high special attack stat as far as I'm aware. And Contrary boosting Leaf Storms, it's going to snowball real fast. You need to build a team to focus around stopping that, or at least resisting that. But I've got you covered here today, so don't worry too much about that. With that being said, let's get over to our builds. Our first one here, pretty common Pokemon we see at these Terra Raid build videos. We got Clefairy. It's a great support Pokemon. Obviously, Clefairy is a Fairy-type Pokemon. You're going to give it the Terra type of Fire and make it hold the Eviolite to boost its defenses even more. When it comes to its moves, it's a pretty standard Clefairy set. We see Life Dew up there to heal your teammates. Light Screen, because again, that'll help slow down the damage output from Leaf Storm. Thunder Wave, to maybe make it so Serperior doesn't move as often. That could be kind of useful. And then Terra Blast, so that once you eventually need it, you can press that button and start dealing some Fire type damage. Friend Guard is Clefairy's big draw here. It makes it so your team takes, I think, 75% as much damage, which is pretty good. And when it comes to EVs, you want to max out HP, max out special defense, and with the last little bit, special attack. When it comes to IVs, everything matters except your attack stat. That doesn't matter, whatever that value is. And its nature is going to be plus special defense minus attack, which I believe is Calm, if I'm remembering correctly. I think. Yeah, it's definitely Calm. Moving on to our next build here. First, I should mention Clefairy is kind of meant to be a support Pokemon. If you already have One of these other Pokemon that I'm going to label as like superior counters on the team. Clefairy is a great supplemental support Pokemon, but because of how powerful this Snowballing Leaf Storm with Contrary can be, you're going to need one or two of these Pokemon that I'll mention which Pokemon they are as we go through our builds. If you don't have them, Superior is probably going to run through your team realistically. It's like a truck. It's unstoppable once it hits that first Leaf Storm. Second one's going to be more powerful, and the third one's going to start dealing a ridiculous amount of damage if you're not careful. Weezing is a great Pokemon for dealing with that, however, though. Weezing, of course, being the poison type, it's going to be Terra Poison, which makes it very easy to catch. You just go out and catch any coughing, and you've got a poison Terra Weezing. You're going to want to give the Assault Vest, which will make its special defense quite a bit higher, which will be very good against the Superior. When we get over to its moves, you'll see quite a few options here. We've got Acid Spray, and at first you might be wondering why we have that, because if Superior has Contrary, Acid Spray is going to boost its special defense. Again, I want to direct your attention over to Weezing's ability. Neutralizing Gas means that when Weezing's on the field, no abilities are active, which means Superior's Contrary won't be active, Acid Spray will lower the special defense by 2, and Superior won't get the +2 from Leaf Storm, but instead will get the -2 that it should get from Leaf Storm. So it's going to be hurting itself if it keeps going for those, and your Acid Sprays can help you build Terra. If you send in Weezing and it's fainted and Superior's gotten a few +2s by pressing a few Leaf Storms while your Weezing has been out of there, Clear Smog can help even the playing field again. That clear stat boost on that Superior. And then your Weezing's Neutralizing Gas will once again be active. It won't be able to boost that anymore. We've also got Venoshock and Sludge Bomb on here. Sludge Bomb is going to be your main damage output. Once you know that the Weezing isn't going to be dealing a lot of damage, you've gotten its special defense down pretty far. Sludge Bomb is a really good damage output option. And it has a low chance of poison. And if it does poison, Venoshock then becomes an 130 base power poison move, which is insane. I think that math is right? Yeah, 130 base power poison type move. So go for Sludge Bombs. If you get that poison, switch over to Venoshock. You're going to be dealing quite a bit more damage. It's going to be very, very valuable. Again, I definitely recommend leading with Acid Spray and Clear Smog if you notice that Superior has slipped through and gotten a Leaf Storm up. If you fainted or whatever, that is a great way to make it so it's not getting that +2. It also does damage, so it will work when the Terra Shield is up. Definitely worth knowing. Moving on to our next Pokemon. Oh, I should mention, EVs. You want to max out HP, but 100 points in a special defense to give it a little bit of extra bulk because Weezing's special defense it leaves a little bit to be desired, and you add 156 points in a special attack there. Its nature is going to be Modest, which is plus special attack, minus attack, and again, its ability being Neutralizing Gas is very, very important. When it comes to its IVs, everything matters except attack stat. You don't care what that value is. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we've got the special defensive wall of champions. We've got Blissey here. Blissey has an insane special defense stat, which makes it very good against its Superior, which is almost assuredly going to be running a specially offensive build. Blissey, of course, is normally a normal type. You're going to give it the Terra type of Fire, and believe it or not, you're going to want to give it the, not Shell Bell, I messed that up. Let's change that right now. You're going to give it the Light Clay Hellden. Let's see if I can find my Light Clay. I should have one extra, if I remember correctly. Got a lot of Hellden. So you're going to give the Light Clay Hellden, and we'll get to why that is in just a second. There we go. Yep, perfect. There we go. You're going to give Blissey the Light Clay item, and that'll help with that light screen there. Setting up light screen will be very pivotal against this Superior. You'll be cutting its damage output by quite a bit if you press that early on. Make sure that's consistent, and with Light Clay up, that will be consistent for 8 turns as opposed to 5, which is very nice. Life Dew is also a great thing. Blissey won't have too much trouble staying alive against the Superior, especially if you can keep its special attack down, like stop it from getting the +6 that it wants to get. Life Dew will make it so Blissey stays alive, but your teammates also will as well, because if Blissey stays on the field and you can keep pressing those Life Dews, your teammates stay on the field as well. Skill Swap is great on this Blissey. Realistically, it's not nature. Ability doesn't matter too much, but Natural Cure I picked because it has the least amount of impact on the battle, and you might be asking why that is. Turn 1 with this Blissey, you want to press Skill Swap. That gives Superior the ability Natural Cure, and you get Contrary, which it's like whatever, that doesn't matter too much. But that means that it's not getting that Contrary boost anymore. It'll be very useful to give this a worthless ability like Natural Cure, because then it can't get that +6. Your life screen is going to be doing a whole lot more. You're already taking so little damage. The life screen is going to make it so you're taking even less, and you can press Life Dew, and your whole teammate's going to stay alive pretty easily. Terra Blast, if you need that extra bit of damage output, will help with that Terra Fire. Realistically, you probably shouldn't be pressing that too much. Life Dew and Cheers are what you're doing with this Blissey. Blissey doesn't have a great damage output anyway. When it comes to EVs, you want to max out HP, max out special defense, and put the last little bit in special attack. So if you do need to end up pressing that Terra Blast, you can be dealing a little bit more damage. When it comes to IVs, everything matters except its attack stat, and its nature is once again going to be Calm, which is plus special defense and minus attack. Moving on to our next Pokemon, this one is I almost said Scarlet exclusive, a Violet exclusive. We've got Iron Moth here. Iron Moth is a pretty good Pokemon. It's fire and poison typing that it gets by default, is 4 times resistant to grass type, which is very, very good. Here we're going to give it the Terra type of fire and give it the Shell Bell held item. This Pokemon has a pretty good set of moves, but I tried to make it so you're less focused on debuffing Serperior and more focused on buffing your team, just in case for whatever reason you don't have one of those pivotal Pokemon that are the superior counters, like Weezing, like Blissey, and like some others we'll get to, or I think one more we'll get to a little bit later. So all these moves are more so focused on helping your team as opposed to nerfing Serperior, just in case for whatever reason you can't stop it from getting that contrary boost, which again, you really should. So Sunny Day, of course, is going to make your fire type moves deal slightly more. Electric Terrain to make it so if you have any other Iron Moths on the field, you'll start to get a Quark Drive boost. Your special attack will start shooting up really fast. On top of the Sunny Day boost, you're going to be dealing a whole lot of damage with those fire type moves, which we'll get to in just a second. Light Screen in case you're not taking as many hits as you'd like to, and then Fiery Dance is its main damage output. Fiery Dance is, of course, a special fire type move that has a chance of boosting the user's special attack, which will be very good. With that Sunny Day and Electric Terrain boost is going to be a great damage output. You're definitely going to be healing enough with the Shell Bell item, especially if you're able to stop Serperior from setting up with the contrary boosts. Light Screen will also help you take less damage once again, and you 4 times resist Leaf Storms anyway, so you're not going to be taking a whole lot, especially if you can stop those boosts from happening. When it comes to EVs, you want to max out HP, max out special attack, and put the last 4 remaining points in special defense so you can live maybe a little bit of extra Leaf Storm. Not like you're going to have too much trouble again, assuming that your strategy pays off with your team. Quick Drive is this Pokemon's only ability, so that's what you're going to run. And when it comes to IVs, everything matters except your attack stat. Its nature is going to be modest, which is plus special attack and minus attack. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we've got another fire-type Pokemon here. We've got Delphox. This is the last one of our Serperior counters, I'll say. All of these Pokemon can be used to battle Serperior, but you should always have one of these Serperior direct counters on the team, those being Weezing, Blissey, or Delphox. And we'll get to why Delphox works in a second. Delphox is a fire psychic Pokemon. It's Terra type of fire, and we're going to give it the Shell Bell held item. This Pokemon gets Mystical Fire as I think it used to be its signature move, but I think a bunch of Pokemon get it now, which is a chance, or I think it guarantees that it lowers the target special attack stat. So if it doesn't have Contrary, that's a very good option, because it's already lowering its attack stat from the Leaf Storms. Might as well help it out with the Mystical Fire, make it take 2 turns to get to -6 instead of 3. The way you get rid of Contrary is with that skill swap item, or skill swap move. Serperior's not going to do anything with Blaze. It has no point in having that ability, so you might as well give it to it, You've also got Light Screen as a great way of making it so you're taking less damage, even if it's not going for those Leaf Storms, which you hopefully will cause to happen by going for that skill swap. And Flamethrower to deal a little bit of extra damage if your team really needs it. It does slightly more than Mystical Fire, so if you've noticed that Serperior is already at -6 for whatever reason, either from 6 Mystical Fires or a couple Leaf Storms after you've gotten rid of Contrary, maybe switch over to Flamethrower for a little bit of extra damage output. Once you Terrasilize, that can start dealing a whole lot of damage, especially because when it comes to IVs, Delphox is going to max its special attack, max its HP for the last little bit in a special defense, so you can live a little bit more. Again, you shouldn't have too much trouble as long as you can skill swap early and make the Serperior not set up with those Contrary Leaf Storms. That is the number 1 priority for this raid. I know I probably sound like a broken record repeating that over and over again, but that is incredibly important to ensuring you win this raid. You want to get that thing's Contrary away or neutralized as quickly as possible. If you don't do that, this raid is going to be exponentially more difficult. This Pokemon's also going to be Modest, which is plus special attack, minus attack. The ability is going to be Blaze. I think its other ability is like Magician, which doesn't do too much either. So, if you catch Delphox, it's probably fine. No matter what its ability is, don't worry about changing it too much. And when it comes to IVs, everything matters except its attack stat. I think I already mentioned you want this thing to be modest. Moving on to our last Pokemon, we've got a bit of a fun one here. I'm a big fan of Scizor. I think I've shown Scizor off in a bunch of these videos, and it's just because I like Scizor a lot. He's one of my favorite Pokemon. Scizor, of course, is the Bug Steel type. You want to give it the Terra type of Bug. Give it the Shell Bell held item. You'll see that move that I definitely like a lot on here, Fury Cutter. Fury Cutter has a fun effect where every time you use it in succession, it builds in base power up to, I want to say 120, but it might go a little bit higher. It builds to a very, very good amount. By pressing Fury Cutter over and over again in succession, you're going to have a huge damage output eventually with those bug moves, which again are super effective against those grass Pokemon. Light Screen's on there to make it so you take a little less from those Leaf Storms, but you won't be taking a lot anyway, because with the Steel and Bug type, you 4 times resist it. Maybe press Swords Dance or Focus Energy early on. I definitely recommend at least Focus Energy. That critical hit boost is very, very nice, and I don't think Serperior can actually clear that when it clears its stat boost like it can if it clears Swords Dance. So I definitely recommend leading with a Focus Energy, maybe leading with a Light Screen if no one else in your team does it. Start pressing those Fury Cutters. Caesar is going to be a lot worse if you don't have a superior counter like Weezing, Blissey, or Delphox in your team. But if you do, this Caesar can, really snowball kind of similarly to how they want Superior to likely snowball. Its ability is going to be Swarm. You might ask why we don't want Technician with a base power of 40. Fury Cutter is only affected by Technician after the first, or during the first use. Afterwards, it's not. Swarm makes it so if Caesar gets low for whatever reason, you'll start getting the Swarm boost instead, which is quite a bit more. It has a longer lasting effect as opposed to just the first time you use Fury Cutter, which is pretty nice. When it comes to EVs, you want to max out HP, max out attack, so you're dealing as much damage as possible, and put the last 4 points into special defense. This Pokemon's going to be the Adamant Nature, which is plus attack and minus special attack, and again, its ability is going to be Swarm because Technician doesn't do a whole lot. When it comes to IVs, everything matters except your special attack stat. That value doesn't matter because you're not using it anyway. And with that being said, that is all of our set builds for this 7-star Superior. Again, your team needs to have either the Weezing, Blissey, or Delphox, or some other fun counter that you can get rid of Superior's Contrary, or make it so it's not able to stat boost, like with Weezing's Neutralizing Gas. You need one of those on every team to take this Pokemon on, or you're going to have a lot more difficult of a time. So it's probably still possible, but it's going to be incredibly more difficult, so I definitely recommend looking into that when you're getting together with other people, or when you're building another Pokemon, or building one of these Pokemon to decide what you want to do. If you've got some friends and you want to run the Caesar, make sure your friend runs the Blissey or Delphox or Weezing or something. You need it to make sure your team can stick around, or Superior is going to snowball really hard, and then there's not much you can do once it gets there. With that being said, I'm going to call this here. Thank you guys so much for watching this 7-star Terra Raid build video. It's going to be a bit of a tough Terra Raid if you aren't prepared, so hopefully one of these sets appeals to you. And again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys out there in those Terra Raid dens. Have a good day.